It is Saturday, May 12th, 2018, 4:47 p.m. and this is a video building my watch list for Monday. I probably could have spent more time doing this, but honestly, you know, when you're looking to build a watch list, you know, you can put, you know, several stocks on your watch list, but honestly, you're gonna play one. Sometimes play two, maybe at a time. I don't advise it. I think when you trade a watch list, you should focus on one stock at a time, personally. But you know, it's really all, you know, dependent on what you do. And basically, honestly, guys, what you should just be doing when you're trying to build a watch list, if you're a day trader, I mean, obviously there's different criteria for however you trade, but for me personally, I just look through the biggest percentage gainers and the biggest percentage losers and just find stocks that fit my criteria, either stocks that are holding their highs or close to their highs, or stocks that are tanked, you know, big. You know, that's pretty much what I do. And then I just kind of look through the charts and kind of narrow it down to the stocks that, you know, fit my criteria. Everybody trades differently. There's no right or wrong. It's, you know, what fits you. So, you know, and then for those of you who follow me, you know, I know I have some international people who don't have Thinkorswim, because, you know, on Thinkorswim you just use the biggest percentage gainers and losers. You can go to FinViz, and on FinViz, you know, you can just do your criteria. So you go to screener, you pick a price, whatever price you're looking for. You can put current volume. I usually do over 1 million. And then either you're gonna, you know, you can look for stocks that are down, so you can pick a percentage. So let's say, you know, you put down 3%. And then to get this to look like this, you just go to charts. You click charts, and then you click on candle, and then it gives you this chart. And then you just kind of look through the charts and go and look to see what you like, you know, and see things that are down big or whatever your criteria is. And then you can do the opposite, so you can go up, you know. You can say up let's say 3% or 5% or 1% or whatever, and then you look for stocks that are up, holding their highs. Like a stock like ARCB would be a stock that, you know, I may potentially look at because it's strong and bullish, you know. So that's sort of what I do. All right, these are the stocks on my watch list for Monday. I'm gonna go through each chart with you real quick. And, you know, if Stock God watches this, yo, thanks a lot for, you know, bigging me up in your video. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot for that. And basically, you know, I've been getting a lot of DMs about my strategy, and they're like, oh my God, it's like so simple. You know, they're expecting some complex strategy. It doesn't have to be complex. Trading shouldn't be complex. It should be simple. I mean, that's how you want to make your money. And basically, if you're watching this for the first time, you know, all I put on my watch list, the only indicators I use is VWAP, the simple 50, 200, and 300 moving averages. That's it. I really just make my trades based off support and resistance. So this is a stock that, you know, VSTL is a stock that, let me pull up the 1 year. It's just, you know, it's been on a tear. It got up to a high of 571. Retraced all the way back to about this 260 level, and it's been up, you know, on this run. It had this consolidation, and it just had this big green day Friday. It normally trades 1.1 million shares. Today trade 1.9. Yesterday traded 1.9 million shares. I'm curious to see how it's gonna react. Obviously, you could see that it touched 5 and then retraced and closed, but you can see that there's some consolidation here at this 513 level, right? That's why I mapped it. Now, if it can't break this 512, actually it's 512, this candle here, 512, 513, yeah. So 512, 514, this range here. So if it can't break this range, you know, it may just tank. You know, I don't know if it's gonna get there, but what I want to see is when I pull up the, you know, this is a 5-minute 5-day time frame. You know, sometimes I'll put like 30-day 5-minute just so I can get a broader view of where the stock is. And for me personally, what I want to see is, okay, is it gonna pull back and then bounce off the support level and keep going up, or is it gonna break above 5? So let's say if it broke above 5, retraced a little and held it, I would go take a long, risking 5. But remember, you got that overhead resistance, so that's why you should always look on the daily and see what's the next consolidation level above. And then you got this consolidation here, so it could potentially test this level. And let me put this 512 because it's really 512. So, you know, it can test this 512 level and get rejected and just, you know, crap. I mean, once it got up this high, you can see it gave it back. But you know, the last time it had a green day, like a big strong green day like this, look what happened. The next day it had another green day. So it hit a opened at 339, hit a high 377. So so we'll see. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's just to me, it seems pretty simple. If it breaks 5 and holds it, take it long. If it tanks, or it tries to spike at the open and right here at this 494 level, because this consolidation gets rejected, and you know, you can take a short risking 494 because maybe, you know, it's a profit taking day, you know, or maybe, you know, it's just gonna crap. I'm just playing the chart. I don't know much about the company, you know, but if it held this 485 level, that's why I have it mapped here as support. Is, you know, if it holds that, you can dip by it there, risking 485. But if it broke down, you know, the next key level, the only other level that I would look to potentially buy this is down here at this 464 level, because there's a lot of consolidation here, you know, and you can buy the dip and then just, you know, hopefully it rips. If it breaks down 464, I mean, there is, you know, right here, it could potentially hold this 455 level, or really it can get down to 448, which is what I think would happen. So these are the levels that I'm looking at, all right, for VSTL. But it's not my #1 watch for Monday for sure. But it's just something I would keep an eye on. And then what I do, guys, if you have Thinkorswim, is I literally just right click, go to create alert, and I just put alert here so the stock can, you know, it sends an alert to my phone. Or if I have Thinkorswim open, it'll trigger me. And that's kind of how I do it. I just go to alert. I used to write, like, make a note. I don't even do the note anymore. It just takes too much time to do the note. So that's all I do. It's real simple, you see. I just right click, create alert, and it's this nice way to just, you know, alert me. So that's kind of how I do it. Next up is BLNK. BLNK, you know, it's interesting. This stock, it has earnings Monday. That's why it hasn't crapped. Now it'll be interesting to see what's gonna happen Monday. So be careful. You definitely don't want to hold anything. But you know, if there's some rumblings like earnings may be great and maybe it has a rip, because this is up. Let me pull up the big chart for you guys. This is a previous. We'll pull up the 1 year. This is a stock that previously, you know, had this run from lows 505 to $15 before, you know, completely tanked. It's probably a shitty company, but you know, it's had, you know, 2 big green days and it had this consolidation. So tomorrow, what I'm curious to see is, right, if we look at the 5-day, you know, if I'm gonna zoom in, look at this 640 level. You see this? You see how it gapped up a couple of days ago and it held 640, then it gapped and crapped. Well, look what happened here. On this day, it tapped 640 and it couldn't hold it and it kept retracing. So if you can find the shares to short, if maybe Monday it spikes and hopefully either at the 620 level or 640 level it gets rejected and you can short risking off one of those levels, you know. That's why I like the chart. And if it pulled back and it held 561 where there's a lot of consolidation, you can buy the dip. Risking 561. I don't know what's going to happen come Monday, but we'll see. That's what I would love to see. I would love to see this thing spike to 640, get rejected, and then short risking 640. If there's shares, I mean, there has to be shares because this is oh wait a minute, yeah, it's a low float. It's under 20 million, so it's one of these low float stocks. So you have to be careful too with these low floaters. They're very volatile and they move really fast. So you got to be really, really, really careful if you decide to trade this. Okay, next up is BLNK. So this is on my watch list because I guess this is a new company. Because if I go back 1 year, it seemed to list on the stock market on March 28th. Now what I like about this stock is, right, it's been just going green. But if you notice these wicks that it kind of gaps up, pulls back, gaps up, pulls back. Now watch this. Let me put it. Look what happens almost every day, guys. The stock will have a spike and then it has this big wash. It almost does it every morning at the market. Let me go back. Let me do the days where there's more volume. So here you go. So this day it's hard to tell, but look, spike, wash, spike, wash, spike, wash, spike, wash, pre-market spike, wash, spike, wash. This day, you know, very little volume, spike, wash, and then, you know, it had this little pull spike, but then, you know, this was not much volume, and then the wash. So, and then look what happened here. You know, then it had this big spike, wash. So what do I think is gonna happen Monday? This is be something I'm gonna watch big time. I'm expecting a spike at the market because I noticed pattern recognition, hoping a spike, and then it gets rejected into one of these key levels above. So you see these consolidation areas above. This is where you map your support and resistance. So this is the high, right? If you notice here, there's consolidation here at this $12 level, at this if you notice here at this 1182 level. All right, that's why I have this mapped here. See right here, this is where it kind of spiked and then pulled back. You notice here it says 1182, so that's a key level right there. I would love to see it spike and get rejected and just wash, have a big wash. So that's what I'm looking to do personally Monday. You know, see how this responds. But you know, obviously, if it washes and it can hold, let's say it washes and it finds itself holding 1120 for whatever reason, it's a good area to potentially dip by. As you see, it's a lot of support here. All right, it becomes resistance, but if it becomes support, then you can buy the dip and see what happens. I don't know anything about this company. Look at it. Maybe it's a good company. Maybe long term, this may be a good buy for you. I don't know. So that's what I'm looking at for Monday. You know, big wash and spike. This thing is very volatile. It gives back a lot. So a stock like this, if I'm going short off a rejection, me personally, this is a kind of stock that I would go in like 4,000 or 5,000 shares and make, you know, $5,000 in one trade. You know, it's a nice volatile stock. It gives you the opportunity to make good. And to me, I would be much more comfortable shorting this than going long because of the volatility, personally. You know. Next up, I reminds me of Ren. Where I remember Ren, when I was watching it a couple of years ago, it was like $2 and it went from 2 to 50. Just insane move. Now, this is why I don't use indicators, because according to this stock, right, if you're using the RSI, this is a stock that probably hit 90 on the RSI back here, you know, and it's just been on this crazy run. It just doesn't want to die. Now, what's beautiful about the easiest play on is the red to green. So here, I'm gonna fix this. I have this previous day's close. Let's put this so you can see all the previous day's close prices. So the yellow line represent the previous day's close price. You're gonna notice a lot of times when this stock, let me zoom out a little bit before I get to it'll go from like red to green a lot of times, meaning you see how it gaps down, then it breaks above the previous day's close price, and then it runs. It does this a lot, where it'll tank and then it breaks above the previous day's close price. Here it just went above it and just ran all day. Here, look, it broke above it, ran all day. Here, this is one of those red days. Here, look, red to green, and then it pulls back and then it goes from red to green again. When it goes from red to green, I mean, it's just been moving. Here, it pulls back, and then boom, red to green. It's just been doing this a lot lately. And then here, you know, pulls back, and then watch the red to green move. This is where it had a couple of those red days, and you think, oh, it's finally gonna die, right? Nope. Red to green. So, you know, it's a lot of red to green with this stock. What I would be looking to see, let me just take that off, put this back. Yes. Okay. So what I'd be looking to see come Monday is, you know, everybody's like, when is this stock gonna just wash, like really wash? But I mean, it just has no chill. It just keeps going. So what I would be looking to see is right hit a high of 1486 and it washed. It's holding this 1382 support, which you can see it was a previous day's high. So it's very important. If it can hold 1382, go long. I mean, go long. You know, right now it's at 14. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it pulls back a little bit at the open. But if it can break and bounce off that 1382, go long, risking 1382 or the previous support level below, which is 1358. And then, you know, depending on how much money you want to risk, that's how much size you take, you know, in terms of shares. I didn't map it, but yeah, 14 should be a good area for me to map as well. You know, what I would love to see, you know, me personally, is I don't know if it's gonna break 1486. You know, I would love to see a little spike into this 1429 area, get rejected, and then I would like to go short personally. But I don't know. We'll see. But if it can hold, let's say above 1429, go long. You know, and then the next key level here is this 1452. There's some consolidation here, and then 1486. This thing doesn't want to die. I mean, this is not a rational stock. I have no idea what's going to happen with this company, but I got all these support and resistance levels mapped below because I just been tracking it for so long. So I have no clue what's going to happen Monday. But me personally, I would love to see it. If I do the 5-day 1 minute, I'll share something with you guys. When a stock, this is the simple 200 moving average, this is the 300 moving average, and the 50 on the 1 day, 5-day 1 minute chart. I noticed that when a stock closes where it's like right at it, it usually goes red the following day. It usually, so let me see if I can go back further so I can show you what I mean. Let's do time frame. Let's do 30-day 1 minute so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can show you. Well, let's see, because here it was kind of below it, and it spiked. So then maybe this is not the best example, but a lot of times when a stock closes, when I see it closes, let me see if I can show you. Yeah, this stock is just not rational. It happens with a lot of the other stocks that I trade, but I has been so not rational. Moving averages haven't really played a big part in this. Just trying to find a close. See, like something like this, where I see where it's like right here, it's like borderline on it. I noticed that usually the next day you have a big tank. You see how this thing tanked here? Like I noticed that when a stock closes. Let me see another day if I can show you. I'm sorry if I'm not making sense. I'm just trying to show you something that I noticed. So, and let's see the next day. You see, no, I didn't really. Yeah, it's not. This is not the best. This is not the best example, because this stock is just so irrational. But we'll see what happens. So these are the key levels that I'm looking to play on Monday. And that's it. I mean, people think, you know, stock trading has to be so complicated. It's really not. And that's what I'm looking with. All right, next XON. I put this on my watch list. Oh, I didn't even map anything here. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, let's see. So yeah, so the reason why I put this on my watch list, because this is a stock that, here, let's pull up the 1 year first. I can just show you. This thing had a big crash from 18, right, from a high of 1919 to 1498, right? Big tank, probably on some earnings. Okay, now what I like about this chart, it has like clear consolidation levels for you to potentially go short or long. Me, these type of charts, I like to short into a resistance spike. But right, it's at currently at 14. It's at $15. Let's say the market opens for Monday and it breaks. It attempts to break 1532, which is a lot of consolidation. It breaks it and it holds it. Then you can go long, risking 1532. People always think that I just short. No, CVS, I went long yesterday, and I made about close to $1,500. You know, because it broke above a key. Resistance level, and resistance when it came support, I just went long, you know. So I go long too, but I prefer short. That's just my preference. So you know, if the stock can break above 1532 and hold, you can take it long, risking 1532. But what I think what's gonna happen is this thing is gonna probably gonna break 1532. I think it's gonna attempt this 1569 area. And there's a lot of consolidation here, and somewhere in here it'll probably get rejected and then keep tanking. That's what I think is gonna happen. We'll see. But if it broke this and held it, go long, risking 1569. Next level above it, 1610. See, 1610 is a good consolidation level. This is the key. This is the key level, because this is where it first, you know, had the pullback, little bounce here, and then just, you know, consolidated here. So I would like to see, sometimes what I'll do is I'll put like a 15-minute chart if I can't get a clear consolidation level, you know, to know where I really need to map my support and resistance. I use a bigger time frame. But you know, it just really just depends. You know, so this is not my #1 play for Monday, but I just put it there just because I like the chart, and you know, I'll be looking to potentially short into a resistance rejection for me if it was there. But again, if resistance becomes support, you can take it long. Like let's say it got to 1610, which is a clear consolidation level, and held it, you can go long because the next level above it, I mean, there's technically resistance right here at 1636. But if it held that, you know, this thing could potentially get back to 1670. So we'll see. Next up is here. Now here, this was, somebody asked me, how do I know when a play is crowded? When you got the daily average of a stock here is 2 million, and it's trading 17 million, which is what, like almost, you know, 8 times its normal range. You know that a lot of people are going to be in the stock, and you know, and because buyers and sellers are all into it, it's hard to predict the price action. You know, a lot of people got burned on this stock, man, lost a shitload of money. You know, even I made a call to short it around this 1522, risking 1522. I told people to go short, and it got up to like you know, as high as 1547 before it tanked. You know, it attempted it and tanked it. And the reason why I had said that, because on the daily, I noticed there was some resistance in that level. That's why I did. But this stock is a piece of shit. It shouldn't even be this high. It's insane that the stock is this high. You know, and the reason why, so you're gonna say, well, Mo, I don't see it. Where do you see it? Because I went back on a further time frame. So sometimes you gotta go back further in time to see, you know, the stock's history. This stock at one time was $89. Can you believe that? But when I was looking at it, I noticed it's so hard to tell, but right down, where was it? Right down in here, I think it was, where is it? 15. Yeah, like right in this level. This was the candle. Yeah, this is where I noticed when I called it like 15. I said, oh, you know, you can go short risking this, but it's just been blown. And there's no volume here. You know, obviously it's gonna blow through it because there's no volume. But sometimes a stock will pull back simply because there's resistance, even though even though the volume's so low. So I mean, this is gonna be the most crowded play Monday, and I personally think that this stock can potentially test 20 because it's gonna squeeze shorts. I'm gonna stay away from this. But in theory, these are the areas where you could potentially dip by it. So right now it's at 1525. If it can't hold that, you got consolidation levels below at 1477, 1360, 1202 to potentially dip by the stock. If it holds 1525, or if it pulls back and bounces off 1477, you could potentially see this rip. You know, personally, I think, you know, if it got to 1763 and rejected it, you can go short, but just gotta be careful, man. This is a very, very volatile stock. You know, so if you do decide to play this, you know, be very, very mindful that, you know, you can get crushed on this stock because it's been moving. You know, it's just been dumping on people. I think Mad Ass Trader has been trading this 2 days and he lost over $150,000, something insane. You know, and I try to talk to him about like trading the higher price stocks that you can make a lot of money and not have to take 10,000 share positions, 20,000 share positions. And you've been watching my videos. I've been telling you this, that these guys, like, you know, that Tim Sykes pimps like Steven Ducks, who only posts when he makes a lot of money, not posting his losers. Trust me, he's losing the same way Mad Ass Trader is losing. Huge losses because they're taking so much size, and when the stock goes against them. So for example, let's say, you know, the guy shorts, I don't know, in this 15, he sees, oh, $16, you know, I'm going to short here because, you know, whatever, like they just think it's going to reject it, and they get squeezed and the stock goes up $1 and they're in, you know, 40,000 shares. Guess what? They're down $40,000, $50,000. That's what's been happening with a lot of these big traders. They've been shorting. They look at the stock, you know, on a bigger time frame. So they'll go back on the daily and they'll go back, let's say, you know, 10 years, and they just keep shorting, risking into these consolidation levels, thinking they're gonna break. Now look, if the stock gets look at this 1716, there's nothing really holding this to get back to 2150. That's why I think, you know, come Monday, this stock, I think it's gonna potentially test that 2150, because stubborn shorts are not gonna you know, are not gonna cover, or they're gonna keep trying to short it, and this is gonna keep getting squeezed. Like let's say if this stock gaps up Monday at 16, there's a lot of consolidation, so a lot of short sellers may risk 16. But if the volume comes in, they're gonna get squeezed, and they're just gonna keep getting squeezed. So I would just stay away from this and wait for the first red day, to be honest with you, or look to see if they, I don't know. Just be careful. Just be careful. I mean, I have it here because, yeah, you can make some good money and you can take a small position, especially if it pulls back like into this 1477 or 1360 level. These are the levels that I would buy a dip. I wouldn't, you know, because they're clear levels they're clear levels of support. Otherwise, I would not just jump in this trade. It has to be near, for me to trade, and for those of you that use this strategy, you have to trade it when it's like right at a support or resistance level to risk off of. You don't want to just buy or a stock or short a stock just to do it, you know. Super important. So just want you to keep that in mind. Next up, PBR. PBR has been on this run. As long as gas is up, you know, this stock is going to continue to run. Now, I do think it's probably ready for a pullback. I mean, so what I like about this, and we'll see what happens Monday. We'll see what oil is Monday. But right, it's, you know, had this big consolidation on the daily, and then it had this big move up, and it finished red. So right, it's showing some weakness now. So what I would love to see Monday is, I want to see it spike at the open and get rejected into like maybe the 1630 level, where there's a lot of consolidation, and then go short, risking 1630 or even 1637. There's a lot of overhead resistance, and then there's more overhead resistance at 1655 and then 1670. This still may be, you know, this may be on an upward trend to ready to, you know, test $19, $20, but I think maybe tomorrow people may start finally take some profit. So what you do is you map your support below. So here's clear support 1584, and then 1568, and then 1544 and 1520, so that, you know, if you go short, let's say it spikes at the open, gets rejected at 1632, and you go short, you go, okay, I need to know where's the below support, because potentially, you know, people may cover, and maybe, you know, maybe like it's just a profit taking, and then it just keeps going up, and then you could potentially buy the dip or cover your short position. That's why it's important to look, and, you know, like, you know, you want to look at a bigger time frame too, just to make sure where the stock has been and all that good stuff. So that's what I'm looking at for Monday in terms of PBR. Next up, SYMC. SYMC. I posted this in my pre-market Monday. I mean Friday. I told you guys I couldn't trade the pre-market on the market open, but man, I gave you this winner, and I saw this gapping down pre-market. So, you know, I didn't get a chance to trade it, but I did map my support and resistance levels, and I actually posted it on Twitter. So I mean, if you go to my Twitter, you can see I put a screenshot of it up. Let's do that. Let's go to Twitter. I'm curious to see. Oops, let's do this without logging in. Should be there. And I'm sorry for the length of the video. All right, so let's see. I know I posted it. I usually try to. Here it is. This is what I posted. Yep, SYMC. This is what I posted. Look, right? I posted it, right? 1992. The low was 1885. I had posted this. Actually, let me make sure. This is where I posted it. Yeah, I want you to see. So SYMC, here it is. When I posted it, it was at a low. Oh, I had mapped it. It's hard to tell here because you can see it, but I had mapped a line here at 1999 as well. You know, I updated it since then, but yeah, man, when the market opened, this thing, and you know, it's 2006, but this thing just tanked, man. You could have got, you know, 1885. It went from 1999 to 1885, man, and you know, crazy pullback and then bounced and then got rejected and gapped up. So Monday, this will definitely be a stock that I'll be watching because the news is pretty bad on this company. And I don't really trade, I don't trade, fundamentals, but the news is pretty bad that I think this thing could continue to tank. So what I would be looking to see is, where in these key overhead resistance levels where it could potentially get rejected or go short again. But if it broke 2006 Monday at the open, go long, risking 2006. Maybe it's gonna, a lot of these shorts will cover, and you'll get a nice little spike. Just look at, remember, just keep mapping that overhead resistance for potentially to sell your shares, because it may get rejected into one of these overhead levels and then just continue to tank. I think this thing potentially has more to give. The news was something about it was downgraded. Yes, like internal. There was like an audit, an internal audit about some like damn, I can't. It doesn't say here, but there was some issues with it. Now this is the actual semantic. I use this at work. We use this at work actually, which is interesting. But there was some like breach or something, security breach. So just be mindful of that. If the news is bullshit, then you'll see a spike again. But we'll see. All right. So let's keep moving on. Last two stocks, MU. I just put MU on my watch list because it had been, MU was like my cash register for a while, because it was up to the spike. It kept like, let me get rid of this. Sorry guys. Let me do the 30-day 5-minute to show you that it was in this like 48 range where it would always come like to here and then fall back. So it was in this range for a while, but now it's gotten up to it's up now in the 50s again. And what I would be looking to see is, all right, so if we pull up the daily, right, it's a red, it had a red day, so it's starting to show weakness, right? It's up a lot, so people are probably looking to take profit. That's my guess, right? Nobody knows what a stock's gonna do. So what if I was be watching MU? I would love to see the market open and it spike and get rejected into this consolidation level of like 52.11, 52.14 to go short, risking off of. All right, that's what I'm looking at. Or if it held 51.68, potentially buy the dip. Now there is some support below it at 51.37, 50.64, and 49.85. Those are the levels that I would potentially look to dip by the stock, because they're clear levels where they were like pivot points where they bounced. Otherwise, it's very volatile. You got to be careful. But I would love to see this thing spike right into this 52 level, get rejected, and go short, and have a bunch of people just push this down, because people are going to take profit and short sellers are going to drive the price of the stock down. If it broke high 52.88, you can go long, risking on 52.88. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but we'll see. And last but not least, TTD. This is a monster, man. This thing, it normally trades 782,000 shares. This thing traded 12 million shares. It's gone from $52 to $76 on some news. Crazy. So I like this stock because it's easy. If it broke 76 and held, take it long, risking 76. But if for whatever reason pre-market starts tanking, gaps up, test 76, gets rejected, you can go short, risking 76. I mean, people gotta take profit. And this thing, if it gets rejected at 76, I think this could potentially go back to $73 just because people are going to take profit, not because the fundamentals are bad. I don't know anything about the company. And then it can hold. If it's a really good, people are really bullish, I think at the $73 level, $73.69 level, if it holds, you can go long. And this thing could break 76 and just keep going. So these are the key levels below it that I'm looking to potentially buy the dip. I don't know anything about the company, but take a look at it. All right, so those are the stocks that I have on my watch list. Obviously, you can do your own due diligence, and that's my strategy, guys. It's simple. I either short into resistance or dip by previous support below, or by breakouts. All right, if resistance becomes support, that's how day trading should be. Simple, and my strategy is very easy. All right, so hope you enjoyed this video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Leave comments, like, subscribe, and share. Hope this made sense.